Hey everybody, this is Chris King here. I'm just driving. We're actually on our way to a wedding, so I thought since I have a bit of time in the car, I might as well do my lesson today, the class today on the drive. So today's lesson, and so the first one we went over, just kind of as a recap, the first one we went over like what kind of writer are you? Are you a discovery writer, or are you an outline writer, or are you a little bit mixture of both? Then I gave you some things, some tips. The last video was it's much harder to think of what. Oh yeah, it was storyboarding or brainstorming. We kind of went over different ways of of how to do different storyboarding, whether spider webbing or bullet boarding. And then I also gave you a little challenge at the end to help you to discover what kind of brainstorming that best suits you. So today what we're going to be going over is perspective writing. And you may be wondering, and you may already know, but just for those that don't know what perspective writing is, what viewpoint are you telling the story from? There is both third person and first person. Well, there is second person, but most people don't write that way, and so I'm not really going to cover that. And it's actually, I find it really hard to write that way, or even tell a story that way. So I'm not going to be doing that. So let's go over the different ways of the different perspective of writing. Third person perspective is pretty much just a narrative way of writing. It is so you are completely outside and you are looking into this story. You are describing everything that's going on, and you're putting the person's name or something to them from outside. So like, say you're following your main character, let's say Bob is your main character and Jill is his wife, or another female, or just another female character. And so they're going, and as you're describing things, you're doing he said, she said, and Bob said, Jill said. There's no like really you're, as I said before, you're telling it from your viewpoint, like from the outside looking in. There are plenty of writers that write this way. I'm actually writing a couple books myself that are written from the third person. And then another thing that a third person book will do is they'll jump from perspective, like follow different people. Like say your main character is Bob, but say Bob is in the hospital. In the hospital is really, really boring. So, well, Jill is out, or did I say, yeah, well, Jill or Susan or whoever your second character is you're following her now to all the stores and stuff, or anything that she's doing, so you're not boring the reader with every boring detail that's going on in the hospital. I mean, unless it's a jumping hospital that has a ton of stuff going on that Bob can be around. So that's one way. The other perspective of writing is first person. This is where you become the character. Your reader is now the main character that is telling this story. They are seeing the world through this character's eyes. So I favor this style of writing more than anything. So far, 3 of my books, well, 2 of my books that I have out right now, both The Tale of Lagoon of Brunswick and The Masquerade Man are told from the main character's point of view. The new book that I just finished that is actually in publishing, it is in a first-person perspective as well. So, how do you know? How can you tell if you are a first first or third person perspective of writer, here's a challenge for you. What I want you to do, if you choose to accept it, is to go and write, now that you've gone over the brainstorming and figured out what kind of writer you are, or try writing, like brainstorming and writing out a short story, maybe make it about 5 pages, and tell them from the different perspective of writing, and see which way best suits you. How, if I'm first person, you should really get to know what the character is looking at, how they describe things, how their actions influence, and what they do and what they're thinking constantly. Whereas with the third person, you don't have to really get into the mind of the character. I mean, you can still write that way and still do that, but you're not going to have to describe everything. And so that's your challenge for this time. I'm sorry that this video is like so late, but I've been trying to think of how to best put all of this to help you further your writing, and also so that you could I don't know, do something to do. I'm also going to try and, I haven't quite figured it out, but then again, I haven't had done much with YouTube very much in the past, and I'm going to try and, if I can figure it out, it's either going to be on this side or this side of the video to the link to the previous one, then every time that I come out with a new one, I'll link the new one onto this video as well. So yeah, thank you for watching, and hope you progress in your writing, and remember, don't quit.